Hello and welcome to another special edition of Unity. We are here. We are here in location. We're doing a wonderful job today in our studio, and I'm so glad to be before you in 2012 doing a new show. I've been in the street and I've been talking to a lot of people, and I've been noticing people have been having trouble dealing with conflicts. And I have a wonderful couple. They're here with us. We have Deborah and Perry. We'll be talking to them individually, and they teach marriage to different churches. And I'm going to start off with her husband, who is Perry Alexander, and he teaches marriage classes. And I want to go ahead and welcome him to Unity with Pam.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
One thing is, like I was talking to you and your wife, and one thing I was discussing, women handle conflict different in marriage than men do. Since you teach a marriage class, and I know you deal with a lot of men, what are some of the conflicts that you are noticing with men and how they handle it?
Well, conflicts are pretty universal, and conflict basically arises when we don't feel like our needs are being met. And so, but how do you handle it? I think that is very different. I think men and women basically have the same kind of conflicts, but I think men and women typically handle those conflicts a little bit differently, primarily because we're biologically made different. And women tend to think in different ways than men do and have different emotions than men. And the problem that's created is that often we tend to think that people feel the same way we feel.
Yes,
we think that people think the same way we think. And so we try to offer our solutions, or we have expectations that people are going to behave the way we would behave in that setting, in that situation. And it just doesn't work that way. So we have to, and when we talk to couples, we have to get them to understand that their spouse is different, and therefore we have to approach things a little bit differently because of that.
Now, one thing I've talked to some couple of men in the street getting their side of the house, they say one thing is my wife is a nag. The next thing they say, my wife talks too much to her friends, tells too much of the business. She's controlling, spins. We can't relate on political issues and, of course, philosophy differences. Do you think those are some of the hair triggers that you notice with men?
With men?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I have a good answer for that. What I know is that people in conflict are going to respond differently based on gender. Men tend not to talk as much as women talk because they are made differently. That's a real issue. Women, I think in general, women expect that if a man cares about her, then he's going to talk to her as much as she wants to be talked to,
yes, I
or
do,
as much as she wants to talk. And we're just not constructed the same way.
But why is that? I want my husband, me and him was talking, when I want you to talk to me, don't introvert on me. Talk to me.
But women are more talkative.
Of course I am.
Biologically.
Yeah.
your brain is different from our brain. And you're more wordy. There was a study done that says that women use approximately 25,000 words a day.
Woo!
Men use about 5,000 words a day. And so couples come home in the evening and the woman hadn't used but 15,000 words and she's ready to go.
Right.
He's used his 5,000. He wants to be quiet, watch TV or just, chill for a moment. And the woman just is ready to go, ready to talk. So, and really I think it's biological more than anything else.
So how do we handle that when, just like you said, the woman is coming home, the man, let's say the man is there before the woman, and she's done had a day and she wants to tell her husband about her day, but he's in a place where he wants to be quiet. How can you handle that? Because I see this right now. This is where conflict is already hidden, right there. Yeah. How do you handle that?
Well, what we try to do is get couples to appreciate the differences, to appreciate the individual differences, and couples can work things out. For example, if he's just coming home, reverse your example, then maybe he needs 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Okay.
And you could just agree, okay, for the first 15 minutes, we're going to do what we need to do individually. And then, the man has to be willing to accept that the woman needs to talk. And so we're gonna have to make some arrangements for that. But maybe at least we could agree to do it, at a time that's more compatible for both of us.
So when that conflict hits, is it best to do it right there? Handle it right then and there, or is it best to just wait and just move on?
It's not, moving on is not the answer. I mean, sometimes it's better if you say, give me 30 minutes or give me 15 minutes, and then we agree that we're going to sit down and talk about this. Because if you don't talk about it and if you don't find a way to resolve it, it's only going to fester and get worse. You got to deal with the conflict. And that's what Deborah and I try to help couples learn and give them a structure on how you can talk to each other, how you can be heard, and how you can do that safely. Because emotions are raw and people get upset.
Yes,
and
sir.
we say things that we shouldn't say, and it just escalates from there. And that really doesn't help. And the other thing that typically happens is that people's arguments are circular. We go over the same thing every time, and we never break new ground, as it were, because of our communication patterns. We don't have a comfortable way of dealing with conflict.
Well, Perry, we've got to go to commercial break. I want you to come back on my show and talk more about how men handle conflicts. But let's say somebody wants to call you and get more information. How can they contact you about that?
I can offer my cell number. It's 706-346-1523.
Well, Perry Alexander, thank you so much for coming to Unity with Pam. We're going to commercial break, then we're coming back with his wife, Deborah Alexander.
Unity with Pam Willis Hovey is being brought to you by these sponsors.
Hello, this is Pastor Willis of the Move of God Ministry. We come to welcome you to be a part of our ministry. This is not a put on, but this is a come on. And we come to share in our different ministries with our dance team, with our choir, and our TV ministry. And we're looking for great things to happen, great miracles to happen within this place. Come and be a part of the blessing plan.
She takes us everywhere. The supermarket, soccer games, vacations. Heck, we've had the van almost as long as the kids. She's like a member of the family. And when she breaks down, there's only one place we'll take her. AMCO. They've got nearly 900 locations, the best technicians, and a nationwide warranty. They fix her right the first time for a lot less than my dealer. People who know, call 1-800-GO-AMCO. AA-MCO.
Why Chalmers?
We manage the details so that businesses don't have to. Our expert consultants understand the individual needs of all of our clients.
We're here for you.
It's great to have the business support of Chalmers. They handle my bookkeeping, payroll, and collections. Now I have more time to dedicate to my customers.
Your success is our success.
With affordable rates for payroll, bookkeeping, collection, and IT services, Chalmers can ease the stress of running a business.
Chalmers Support Services. What you can't do, we can.
Come on in to Sugars for a sweet taste of Southern cooking. You will be taken back to Sunday dinner at Grandma's house with every bite. Daily specials serving fried chicken, collards, black-eyed peas, also melt-in-your-mouth cornbread. You will want to ask for seconds. Also try one of our homemade desserts. You will be in sweet, sweet heaven. Sugars offers catering for all your corporate, church, and family gatherings. They will do all the work and save you all the trouble. Sugars, a taste of Southern cooking.
Hello and welcome back to Unity. I hope that you enjoyed our first guest, Mr. Perry Alexander, and he talked about the way men handle conflicts in marriage. And now we're coming with his wife, which is Deborah Alexander. Both of them teach marriage classes throughout this city. And I want to go ahead and welcome her to Unity with Pam.
Thank you, Pam. It's great being here.
Well, you know, me and you talked on the phone, and you had a topic that I really found was very interesting, was front-loading a marriage. Tell my viewers about that, because I've never heard of that.
Well, front-loading means preparing your marriage to deal with conflict. And in order to do that, there are some conditions that have to be in place. And a couple of those conditions are knowing or clarifying your marriage expectations. It's hard to resolve a conflict when neither of you know what each other's expectations are. And so we solve problems based on what we know or how we grew up. I bring my family with me. I bring all of those people around me with me in the way I deal with things. And so does my husband. So if he knows nothing about the way I am, how can he and I work together in resolving an issue? So we call that front loading, clarifying the issues. For an example, do you remember the Beverly Hillbillies,
Oh,
the
Lord,
Clampett
yes.
family?
Mm.
All right, suppose you were married to Jethro and you moved away from the mansion. Would Jethro treat you differently, or would he treat you the way that he was reared, the way that Granny taught him, or the way that Uncle Jed taught him, or the way he dealt with his cousin Ellie Mae? So those things are embedded in us. And so to come together as a couple, we have to develop or create our own expectations. And that comes from good communication. And the communication has to be open and honest.
Okay.
So
Ooh.
that each partner will feel safe, vulnerable, open, free, transparent, so that there is no fear of rejection or harm in the relationship, or else we cannot communicate clearly and we cannot resolve issues that will arise. Conflict will arise. It's a part of life. So in the relationship, we want to be strong enough to handle anything that comes along, but it has to come in the environment of safety, emotional, physical, and social safety.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other side, like me and your husband talked about, and we heard about the men, but here comes the women. Mm-hmm. I've heard women say that men don't listen. Mm-hmm. Controlling. Flippant attitude. Say hurtful things when they get mad. A lot of them are dealing with baby mama drama. Mm-hmm. Too much of baby mama. Spends too much money, or he's just a tight wad. Likes the games, likes to hang out with the fellas more than me. Of course, the stepkids and the in-laws. All of those things can cause conflict. Mm-hmm. How, you being a married woman and dealing and teaching marriage to couples, how are women handling conflicts in these areas?
Well, it's true. Women have their own ideas, or we have our own ideas about what our relationship should be from our perspective. And so does the man. Because he doesn't talk or because he's quiet doesn't mean he's not listening.
Okay.
When are we trying to talk to our husband? Is it during the time that he's watching that football game that he really enjoys? All right, so maybe we can have some compromise there. Maybe my important issue can be discussed at another time. Mm-hmm. It's compromising and sitting down and talking about these things. In our classes, we have a list of questions that couples ask each other, and their expectation questions. And the questions are not like, what is your expectation of me? Or this is what I expect of you. They're questions that center around expectations, and couples go together to a quiet place and they answer the questions. And from their answers, they will see what their likes and what their dislikes are, what their needs and what their needs are, so that they can verbalize what they want and when can we talk together, so that there won't be a question of disturbing your husband when he's doing something and vice versa. Maybe he wants to talk or he has an issue and you're doing something, you can't talk right now. So you are a team, and so you don't want to have the conflict with him and yourself. The conflict is here. You as a team want to deal with the conflict.
You're right.
As a couple being one, the us factor, we are together and we want to resolve the conflict. The conflict is the outside force. So we work that conflict out as a team.
How long did it take you and your husband to come together with such a wonderful teaching? How long did it take y'all to put that together?
Well, it didn't take long at all because we are always interested in improving and growing our relationship. And so when you have a couple that's really interested in that, it doesn't take long at all. You go and you find courses to take. You read. You go on the internet. You look for relationship sources that can help you. So it's a mindset because you want to have a successful relationship.
Well, before we go to commercial break, tell my viewers how they can contact you, because I'm pretty sure them hearing this, they're going to want to use you and your husband.
Well, that would be great because we have some scenarios that we'd like to share and so forth.
And I want you to come back too.
Okay, be happy to. You can reach me at 706-346-1656, and of course through Pam Hoovey.
That's right. Anytime. Well, we're going to commercial break, then we're coming back with Kanye Inekwe, and I'm telling you, he's a wonderful brother, adjutant instructor from CVCC, Chattahoochee Valley Community College. Coming back with him after commercial break.
Unity with Pam Willis Hovey is being brought to you by these sponsors.
You love your parents, and it's hard to see them struggle to keep their independence. Magnolia Manor can give your parents the assistance they need to enjoy life. You won't have to worry if they are eating well or taking their medications properly. And they'll be in a safe, secure environment with no need to worry about cleaning house or doing yard work. Visit magnoliamanor.com to learn more. Magnolia Manor, just down the road. A community of convenience, caring, and fun.
Taylor Funeral Home, a live-in service for the living. It's a family affair. Our family serving yours. 1514 5th Avenue in Phoenix City, Alabama.
My name is Japal. 2 years ago, I received a kidney transplant. When I was 21 years old, I started dialysis, and for 7.5 years, I was a patient receiving treatments 3 times a week for 4 hours each session. And man, it was hard. After receiving my kidney transplant, I was able to find and marry the love of my life. My kidney transplant gave me my life back.
You have the power to donate life. Be an organ, eye, and tissue donor. To find out how, go today to donatelifegeorgia.org.
When Bill Larson's brakes started squeaking. When Pam Summers' check engine light went on. And before Tom headed out on vacation, they all came here. Midas. Total car care. Total customer care. That's the Midas touch.
Hello, welcome back to Unity. I'm telling you, we're having a good time talking to couples, and we have a wonderful instructor here, and he's also talking about conflicts and relationships, and his name is Kanye Inekwe. He's the adjunct instructor at Chattahoochee Valley Community College, and I want to go ahead and welcome him to Unity.
Thank you very much, Pam. It's nice to be here.
Well, I'm telling you, I am enjoying. He sent me a wonderful PowerPoint on different reasons for conflict. And I want to go ahead and just get my viewers, knowing to what things can cause conflict that you've noticed in your studies.
Well, first of all, conflict is when 2 or more people have different needs or different goals and have 2 or more different ways of going about it. One of the things that people have to understand is that we all have needs. As in the case of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we have the need for security, we have the need for recognition, identity, love, and etc. And when 1 or more persons tend to come across and prevent that from happening or alter that course, then of course there is a natural conflict. Now, conflict by itself is not necessarily a bad thing. As human creatures, we are supposed to have conflict, but there is a difference between constructive conflict and destructive conflict, or negative and positive conflict. Negative conflict tends to deal with issues such as personalities. We tend to forego the issues and concentrate instead on personalities. Positive or constructive conflict tends to focus on the issues only. So it doesn't matter whether you have a different personality from another person. It's all about getting to the heart of the matter and resolving that conflict. So conflict by itself is not necessarily a bad thing. In relationships, people tend to have control issues sometimes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
When we talk about marriages or even domestic partnerships or boyfriend or girlfriend, you have issues in terms of who's the boss and who is not the boss. And it doesn't have to be that the man is controlling or the woman is controlling. It could be the situation. It could be money. It could be anything of that nature. External factors can cause incompatibility between people. There's also differences in culture between people. Some people tend to come from different ethnic groups or different races, but also different parts of the continent or different parts of the world. Some people have differences in education. One partner may have a college degree, the other person may have not finished high school. And also you have the family issues such as baby mama drama. I mean, you have a man or a woman that has multiple kids by different people, and that could be a problem too with the current partner. Okay. To resolve conflict is not that hard. One of the things that we're taught at Nova Southeastern University in our conflict resolution program is that one of the first things you have to do is pick a neutral place to discuss your conflict. I always like to joke with people. I always tell them avoid the kitchen and the bathroom because you could drown or get stabbed. So you definitely don't want to be in places where you can get drowned, stabbed, or burned. You want to pick a place that is neutral to both people. You want to pick a place that's not personal to someone. You can meet at McDonald's, for instance, or you can meet in the parking lot, or you can meet at a living room in your best friend's house or somewhere like that. You want to make sure that you tend to remove most of your distractions. Some of your distractions could be TV, video games, and the dreaded cell phone, especially those smartphones. So you want to make sure that you turn all of those devices off while you're talking to people because that could be a distraction itself.
True.
And it might be part of the source of your conflicts. Believe it or not, partners do get jealous of you and the smartphone. It happens. There are TV commercials out there to prove it.
Okay.
Identify your needs calmly. There's nothing that spoils conversations more than yelling. I mean, I'm sure you see TV shows and reality shows where people yell at each other and pull on each other's wigs and so forth. So you definitely don't want to yell because yelling is a form of negative communication.
Yes.
You want to be empathetic towards each other. In other words, you want to feel how it's like to be in that other person's shoes. For example, if a wife is telling her husband that he's not listening to her, make sure that you understand her point of view. Maybe she has the children and she's swamped with all of these responsibilities and she sees you coming home and sleeping. So she may want for you to help out with the children during different times of the day. And a lot of times people are not going to tell you, honey, I need you to do A, B, and C. A lot of times you have to figure that out on your own. And usually non-verbal cues will help you on that point. So you want to be empathetic towards each other. You want to also brainstorm and address the issue. Come up with different ideas. Write it down if you have to. Pick the best ideas. That's all part of brainstorming. It may take a day. It may take a couple of hours. It may, in some cases, take weeks for this to happen. There's really no time limit as long as you get things accomplished. And finally, you may even have to come up with a contract. Yes, the friend contracts may have to be written. You may have to write a friend contract, and that's okay as well.
But we got to go to commercial. I'm letting Kanye roll this one out. This brother is on fire. We're going to commercial break, then we're coming back more with Kanye Enekwe.
Unity with Pam Willis Hovey is being brought to you by these sponsors.
Taylor Funeral Home, a live-in service for the living. It's a family affair. Our family serving yours. 1514 5th Avenue in Phoenix City, Alabama.
When Bill Larson's brakes started squeaking. When Pam Summers' check engine light went on. And before Tom headed out on vacation. They all came here. Midas. Total car care. Total customer care. That's the Midas touch.
Hello, this is Pastor Willis of the Move of God Ministry. We come to welcome you to be a part of our ministry. This is not a put on, but this is a come on. And we come to share in our different ministries with our dance team, with our choir, and our TV ministry. And we're looking for great things to happen. great miracles to happen within this place. Come and be a part of the blessing plan.
She takes us everywhere. The supermarket, soccer games, vacations. Heck, we've had the van almost as long as the kids. She's like a member of the family. And when she breaks down, there's only one place we'll take her, AMCO. They've got nearly 900 locations, the best technicians, and a nationwide warranty. They fix her right the first time for a lot less than my dealer. People who know, call 1-800-GO-AMCO.
Enrichment Services is giving a young child in our community a head start on kindergarten. Enrichment Services is providing a nutritious meal for senior citizens. Enrichment Services, a host of educational and assistance programs to benefit all ages.
Hello, I hope that you have enjoyed today. We've had a wonderful time talking about conflicts, and we're just going to have just a few minutes with Mr. Kanye Nekwe to close up with us as we close out our show. Always show love in the community.
Thank you very much, Pam. Tips for getting along better. For one thing, talk it out. Do not yell it out. As I mentioned before in the last segment, yelling is a breakdown in communication. Also, listen to the other side. Every side has a valuable form of input. Cool off if necessary, but not too long. Sometimes we need a little break from our arguments or from our conflicts, but always stay on the key issues. And above all, hug it out and smile and be happy. That's why I always tell my classes at CVCC, smile and be happy.
One thing I want to say before we go off the air real quick too, is you asked a question that says, can you measure how to respond to conflict? And your answer was?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. So we have to remember to do that, is show love, pray. That helps a lot. Praying helps for real. That is one from Big Girl. You got to pray a whole lot. Sometimes I heard a sister in my church say you have to fast for people, and moreover, fast for yourself. Kanye, tell people before we go off the air how they can contact you.
Well, you can contact me through emailing me at ejinkanye, EJINKONYE @gmail.com. That's ejinkanye @gmail.com. Or you can contact me at 706-289-9316, and that goes to my cell phone.
Well, Kanye, thank you so much for coming to Unity. Like I said before we got ready to start this, show love in the community.